Hello everybody, welcome to Instantgo Tarot Odyssey. While I have the camera all set up and I'm sitting here, I just got some really cool messages from Spirit that just want to be delivered to you, and I'm going to be using this deck for a shuffle, and then I'm going to go off that. I'm just doing things as I'm directed. As I slow down and I'm spending more time alone, I'm able to connect with the energy of yesterday and being at Stonehenge. I'm in England, as you know. And, okay, this baby flew out, so this is our card we're going to be working on. Okay, this is nuts because this came up yesterday. This was aptitude. It was one of the choices. And this is just going to be a general read, and laughter. And I'll share a couple things that I'm hearing. I'm not going to revert to the book or anything because I'm channeling really well. As I started I'm looking out a window, and again, this is an old refurbished military barracks, and I feel the energy of here, and I hear footsteps, I hear all this stuff, so it gets a little crazy when I tap into that energy, and the more I do and I'm aware, it's really cool, but it's also pretty wild because I feel yesterday being at Stonehenge, that ancient powerful energy was so transportative. And in the last video I just explained, it's like a quiet warm hum that goes up through your feet, all through your body. It's like your chakras and your chi get aligned and everything flows really beautifully, and you hear and see and experience so much so fast in a 3D body that it comes to you slowly, but it is some amazing stuff. And when the sun came out over everything, when we were charging the crystals, it was absolutely and utterly surreal. So it was amazing. So I feel like I'm getting crazy like symptoms too. Like sometimes I'm just dizzy and I just pass out of sleep for 2 hours, and it's like, okay, then I feel good and I remember stuff. So it's really, really wild. But this is the whole ball of wax of kind of what's going on. And me and my son, who are pretty goofy and funny, are helping each other through that. But I definitely feel like the messages from all of us, including my family, is we have the aptitude to learn to be and do and accomplish anything wherever we are in the world. And when we go to a new place, we learn a lot about ourselves. We learn how impatient we can be, how we might jockey for position, or others around us might. They want to go certain places, so they try to assert their will. How some people are absolute supreme dictators, or they monopolize conversations until you let them know this is happening. It's very unique. And then also just when we reach that point, I call it like the emotional rubber band is as taut as it can be. Our bandwidth is stretched. We need to disassociate and step away and reclaim our energy and our grounding. And that's kind of like the aptitude of learning. And we have the aptitude to learn about ourselves, which is the most important. When do we get incapacitated? When are we at our weakest? Mine is in huge social groups when people just start talking and all the masks are on and all the falsity is there, and it's just weather and little things, and they're just brushing the surface. But you know there might be some major issues really going on, and you want to touch on that. But I was saying in my last video too, there's something that we need to do when that arises. We have to say, hey, do we really respect the opinion of the person we're about to interact with enough to go into it? Not really. I'm keeping my business to my own self. Thank you very much. Because what happens is people will start to judge and give opinions. And like Carl Jung says, it's the unimaginative that like to judge, right? They don't have the creativity. So like, oh, she was wearing that and she was saying that and they were doing that. Goodbye. And when I hear that and just people talking about people, I get agitated and I want to leave. And sometimes I'm so abrupt, I just get up and leave a room. I'm like, enough. And that's something I'm learning about myself, that I don't like a lot of falsehoods and masks and things. And also that as an empath on a plane and other things, that I have to really ground out and be calm. Now, another thing with aptitude and laughter for you guys taking place in your life, we should always reach for that humor, always reach for that sweetness and that light and that laughter. And as I said in my last video, and I don't know when I'm posting each one of these in a row, the best thing to happen to me was yesterday at Stonehenge, besides my family and being able to see them again, is when I put all the crystals on the ground and the sunlight came out, because they were silver and crystal. They friggin' like glowed like off the ground. And this little girl comes running up, and she's like 5 or 6, and she goes, are they diamonds? Like, she was so excited. It was so wonderful and so cute. And she just stood there the whole time talking. And the mom was probably like, please stop talking. Please stop. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And I didn't care. I was just doing a ritual. So I hand one to her and I go, would you like one? And she just looked so excited, like her head was going to pop off her little body. And right away she started talking, I'm going to really take care of this. I'm going to treasure it. My brother can't touch it. And she was going on and she was a chatterbox. She kept walking around the stones. She bolted off with it and just was like so excited. And then my husband's like, you probably made that kid's life. And I was like, I go, yeah, could you imagine going to to Stonehenge and you're just like, there's this lady just with sparkly things, just handing them out. And she was probably like, why are they on the ground? The million questions, it was, and I thought it was just the greatest moment because kids are unadulterated. The joy that's there is so unfettered and so just pure, right? So that experience was so wonderful that's why I really love children and old people. Old people can't be bothered anymore. They are wise. They know what's going on. They're not wasting time with falsehoods, same thing, right? Any of that. They're just going for it. And this is where the laughter part comes in, that we can laugh at ourselves sometimes because we join in that kind of, going back to type and trying to figure out who's doing what and where we fit in, where most of the time it's like, it's so not necessary. If we just sit back, we're enjoying, we're our real selves, the conversation will flow. But I like to be in a room of people being excited to go and do and create things. That's why being in a group of artists is so phenomenal, because they're stoked and the energy is different. And it's really nice. And Ian's mom is very creative and she does needlepoint. She loves artwork, and we went and saw her last night again. And to see that she had the pictures she had in her homes before because she loves the art was very reassuring. And Ian had mentioned that. He's like, to see the same artwork. And she lived in Egypt and they lived in Malaysia and Borneo and everywhere, and all this artwork is fantastic. And it was one of those things where, again, the aptitude to make conditions for your guests very comfortable. We always have that. And aptitude is always consistent learning, right? Learning with that curve, learning about yourself, learning where you're comfortable, uncomfortable, all of those things, and being able to work with that is really phenomenal. And the other thing with whenever anybody says something of comic relief or an observation, it's so relaxing for everybody. And I realized, when I was younger, and sometimes I used to get really excited to go to places. And then I would almost have this fear of, oh my God, because sometimes I was, oh good, she's the funny one, she's the entertaining one, she's a good conversationalist, or like funny times would be like, I wonder what she's gonna wear, because I would always wear crazy stuff and things like that. Then puts a pressure on you because you think, I'm not a performing monkey, right? So a lot of you guys that have humor, remember that you are not there to perform. Have everything be natural. What you observe can be, that's where the humor comes from. But we don't go prepared with jokes to entertain, because that's very stressful. Like a lot of stand-up comics get this too. Like Jerry Seinfeld was saying, I don't particularly love going to a party. I hang out with other comics because you have people that come up and say, oh, say something funny, tell me a funny story. And I used to work with this fellow, and he would be all alone, Doug, and he would come up from his department and go, tell me a story, Mel. And I'd just tell him a story, like a fun story. And it was one of those things, and we'd entertain each other. But when you're in a group and somebody lacks imagination, so they glom onto you to do that, always remember, you people that, that are creative, you don't have to entertain any of these people too. But laughter is it's a great conduit to make other people feel good. And my son has that, my India has that for sure. And it's really nice. And always just dig deep and look for the funny, like have that observational awareness, like what crazy crap is going on right now. And when we do that, we're able to, really see. I want to pull out 3. I'm just going and being directed as I'm being directed. I've never read in this home I'm in, and I'll explain it to you. As you walk up, it looks like some of the Brighton Beach mansions. You walk up the stairs, it seems like it's a football field long. It's a big deck, and it's a bunch of old military barracks, super high ceilings, but they're huge. But there's something in the energy in the house that is both very exciting and rich, but it's a little haunted feeling too. Oh my God, you're not gonna believe the card that came out. If this is what I think it is, which it is pretty much Stonehenge, 9 of Stones, tradition. This is the overarching energy. Now, 9 of Stones is 9 of Pentacles. And the tradition card is traditions that are passed on. I want you to see this really close up. So as I was saying, it's not haunted, but it's a mysterious thing. Like I see dozens of people, like the variant of, I just call it, like their ethereal selves moving through every once in a while. And it's pretty unique. And I haven't experienced this before. So I'm just like, okay, I just think I'm hallucinating, but it's one of those things where places have memories, have residual energy, have other things. In England, I feel more than most. So it is kind of strange reading in this new energy. So, it's going to vary, but this overarching energy of 9 of Stones, I love this because this is the progression of making it to somewhere great and grateful and abundant and together. But with that, we have to supply ourselves with the resources we need to accomplish that, right? Because money doesn't just grow on trees and fall out. So this is about us becoming resigned that we have to follow our true path purpose. If you're doing a job and you're driving on the way to work and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't want to go there. Why the hell are you driving there? Why are you wasting your time? Why are you putting in the effort to earn somebody else money while you're getting the minimal and the aggravation out of it? Never ever spend your time in places that don't honor you and honor your skill set and the value that you have, right? And Nine of Pentacles is all about this because it's saying, if you take that final step into honoring yourself and what you do and how you want to spend your time, that's when you get your 10 of Pentacles. That's when you get your abundance. This is 100% true for me. I worked for years for other people out of loyalty, sometimes a false sense of loyalty, sometimes absolute just love, like Faina, I love to death. And it was a time where that fit my life beautifully. But she even says, you know, people learn everything they are going to learn here and then they move on. But for years I had worked doing these things and was like, you know, very strenuous and it's not, I don't even know if you're operated really by like fear or obligation, but after a time you just go, what the hell am I doing with this? I have all these things I love, yet I'm leaving this much time for it because this much time is spent just earning not that much money doing something that I no longer am learning or growing in, right? So then I stepped out of it and I went into what I believe are my true gifts, my true things that I love. And all of a sudden, you know, life was abundant and I was able to really conjure up the most wonderful excitement for what I do every single day when I wake up. It's incredible. Even if I have an insane workload, like one day I had 22 private reads after a full moon, I was excited about that. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I don't get overwhelmed by it because I know how to pace myself. And because I'm the only person, the only chef in the kitchen, I don't have the bothersome, why don't you do it this way? Do you work at a place, ask yourself right now, where you know you could do something so much better than management allows you to do, or micromanagement is up your butt and in your face trying to have you do? That's when I would sneak in and assert all these little changes without people knowing and them going, wow, that really works. But then I thought, why is it when you ask somebody, oh, wouldn't it be better this way? It's an ego that says, no, we've always done it this way. That doesn't mean crap on a cracker. We've always done it this way. Yeah, and that way blows too. So how about we try a new way? But we don't want to be confrontational. So we go with the flow. I've seen so many time wasting like epidemics in places I've worked. So if I had the wherewithal to do it, I would implement the change. Do that as well for now if you need to smooth your path on your way out to do whatever you want to do. But that's Nine of Pentacles saying, wow, I have doors and windows and the sky and everything opening up for me to be in my best realm where I am supposed to be. And ask yourself those big questions. Am I happy where I am right now? Do I feel abundant? Do I wake up and am I excited to do this? And at the end of the day, do I go to sleep going, wow, what a cool day I was able to do that? If you answer no to any of that, you know it's time to move on. And the Mercury retrograde that just occurred on the 17th is an indicator of that. We are going to feel pain because guess what? We are dropping friends, family, and stuff like hotcakes that do not work for us. If they are poor listeners, or if there's indications that those people don't really care that they're self-serving, or the roof under which we used to work no longer works for us, we're moving away from that. And to break those ties are sometimes tough, and that's why we feel conflicted. So it's the best of both worlds and it's the worst of both worlds because we know what we're moving towards, but we have to extricate ourselves from the things that aren't. So, you know, just make sure you have self-care in those times, because on your way to the 10 of Pentacles, there are things that have to fall by the wayside to make room and oxygen for the things that you need to allow. So I feel my voice getting wonky, so I'm going to check out, and I just want to say thank you guys for all your love and support and watching my videos. And I'm going to be trying to upload another one a day because I figured out where there's Wi-Fi in the sky. England is much different than America, so I'm going to go upload this for you and hopefully get it up to you today. And yeah, come over to Instagram, Sparkrist11. My links are down below. See all the posts, and I'm doing video vlogs of what this barracks looks like and all the stuff, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm really excited. We're going to go to the Tower of London, go see some really great architecture, some museums. I'm just going to walk right into Parliament. I think we're going to do that. I'll just act like I'm lost. I'll be like, hello, Mr. Boris. Like, we're just going to see what's going on downtown. And the cool thing is here too, I feel like the English really welcome Americans and Canadians. Like our waiter last night didn't know where we were from, and they just have wonderful conversations, and it's a very beautiful area. So yeah, if you can ever get over here, definitely do it. So love and light, you guys. Mwah.